Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at the Charioteer. It is a one of a kind of its type in tier 8, and that is what makes this tank such a good tank. Now, it is a British TD, and of course it has Hesh 175 millimeters of Hesh pen. We're going to compare that to the FV4202, which has 210 with the rammer. Of course, you can get it more with the calibrated shells. We can get it to 193 millimeters of pen. Yes, 193 millimeters of Hesh pen in tier 8. Absolutely crazy. You can go through almost anything with that Hesh. Now, imagine this tank when it first come out. A lot of people won't have remembered or won't have been in the game when this tank first come out, but the reload right now is 9.06 seconds. When this tank was released, it was like a 5-second reload. It was absolutely insane, and people were spamming this tank, absolutely spamming this tank, because they knew Wargaming were going to nerf it, and of course they nerfed it hard. They almost doubled the reload, but after they nerfed it, I said to myself that I was never going to play the tank again, because, you know, once you've played a tank that is so good, then because of the reload and everything else, like, it's not going to be the same again. It's not going to be the same again. Like the Charioteer 3 seconds or 2 seconds reload. How many people will play it if Wargaming changed it to a 9-second reload? Like, not many. So I said to myself, I'm not going to play this again. But Fizzy, my man Fizzy, he told me that the tank was still a good tank, and I was like, nah. So I went to play it, and I was pleasantly surprised just how good this tank still is, even with a 9-second reload. You can see this tank will be no good for those that doesn't really know how to use the Hesh, but those that love the not so much the Death Star. I know the Death Star has Hesh, but you know, more like the FV4202 and the Centurion 7-1. Those that like that tank should like this tank. It's a TD. It's a TD. It has no armor at all, but what it does have is the speed boost. It has that speed boost, which basically they may as well change this tank from a TD to a medium, because for me, you don't play it like a TD. You do not play it like a TD. So if you play it like a medium, obviously I definitely wouldn't go front line, because as I've said, you've got no armor. If you can try and get around the team, that would be perfect. We are going to watch a game from Fizzy next, and he actually gets around the team, and then you can see just how brutal this tank can be. Now, even up against tier 9s, if you get to the side of tanks or behind tanks, you can use the Hesh, and of course you're doing 400 plus damage every single shot, which is amazing. It's not as good as it was, of course, because it had a 5-second reload. Imagine doing 400 or 575 damage every 5 seconds. It was insane. It really was crazy and so fun. And I think during that time I didn't play anything else other than the Charioteer. I have a replay on the channel. Go check it out. It's on Canal. Some dude just camped and he done over 8,000 damage. This was before the times of the heavy buffs, where 8,000 damage wasn't really a thing. 7,000 damages was like, that's a great game. 8,000 damage games back then was like, what the fuck. So yeah, do go check it out. Just put Charioteer review off, or I can't remember what it's called, in the search, and you should find it. It was crazy. If you haven't seen what this tank was like, definitely go check that out, because you'll be jealous. 100% you'll be jealous. So you're not going to bounce anything. You use your speed, you use your speed boost as armor, basically. I would go front line. I mean, it does have, I think, 10 degrees of gun depression, so that's why I come to this hill at the start of this game. I do play it like a medium, and with that gun depression, with that Hesh, you are able to get those Hesh shots. Now, this is a Lerva with really, really strong armor, but of course, it's just butter. You can get through the side, you can get through the turret, anything, just like butter. 420 damage. Now, he's only on 230 now. I was very lucky here. I thought I need to get to the side. I don't want to shoot the front of him, but we do manage to just about take him out. So we're on 3 kills now. Easy 4k damage. Absolutely easy 4k damage, and there is now just this AT-15. Now, I was hoping my team would kind of just bounce him and let me have time to get behind him, because that's a pretty lot of damage that I could have farmed. Basically, it's 3 Hesh shots. Again, AT-15, extremely strong armor. I didn't shoot Hesh then, but we can shoot Hesh on the rear of that AT-15. So quite easy game there. 4.4k damage was only enough for a first class, but even shooting so much Hesh, we still managed to earn some credits. Over 30,000 credits we earned. So next up, we are watching Fizzy, my man Fizzy. And as I keep saying, never play this tank like a TD. I know the tank type says a TD, but really, it isn't a TD. Just see it as like a Comet with Hesh. Basically, a Comet with Hesh. Use it as a medium. Use the speed. Don't waste the speed boost. I always use the speed boost right at the start to get to those mediums quick enough, and then I don't use it unless I absolutely have to use it to maybe get away from some mediums or get away from some heavies, or again, just to get into those positions very, very quickly. Now, Fizzy knows that there are a few tanks to the left. I mean, this game is nothing special. He does well getting behind the tanks, but this game is just one of those games where just no one wanted to know him. And when you've got something with Hesh with 190 odd millimeters of pen behind you, yeah, you want to be taking them out. 100%, because he's going to do 500 plus damage. He can do 500. Now, here's the ISU 152 straight up the side of him, 418 damage into him. So the ISU obviously knows, and Fizzy's going to have a few shots where obviously he does mess up. But at the minute you can see, yeah, you don't want to get in the front of the in front of the ISU. Now, luckily he missed, and you could just see Fizzy was just penning him nice and easy frontally with Hesh, and he does switch to the APCR because he is a one-shot and he can clear the biggest gun in the game. So that's now the biggest target. And look at these side shots. The side of a Tiger, no problem whatsoever. You can pen just about anything. There's the T30. Unfortunately, Fizzy does miss out on him. There's the T44, just looking at him. So Fizzy now knows that he does have to just back up a bit. But the T44 actually, instead of him coming towards this side and maybe helping or going towards the med side, he actually just stays there. Fizzy's going to try a HE shot. He still does 200 damage, but that's just a splash shot on his turret. And still, apart from the T44, no one really wants to know Fizzy. They're all going towards the other side. Now, you would think the T44 would come. He comes halfway. He comes halfway, and then he just, you know, backs up, shoots someone else. There is actually a TD with another tank destroyer with Fizzy, so that actually helped him out. Otherwise, I think the T44 would have pushed, and maybe he would out DPM him. I'm not sure if he would out DPM him or not, but you can see, unlucky shot there, Fizzy. Fizzy has a habit of not aiming. Look at that, the front of a T34, no problem, 530 damage, easy. That is what I love about this tank. And those of you that are fairly old to the channel, you'll know that I love, my second favourite tank in the game is the FV4202, and that's because of the Hesh. So a tier 8 tank with the same gun, pretty much the same gun. Obviously, it is a bit more reload, but back in the day, it was the exact same gun. as the FV4202 and the Cent 1 coming up against tier 7s. So when you are against tier 7s, you can pen almost anything. Obviously tier 9s, you do have some tanks that you won't be able to pen frontally, but yeah, sidewards, side, in the rear, you can pen anything. So definitely load more HE than anything else, because you will be shooting a lot of it. And Fizzy's racked up 4.2k damage now. You can see, look at that. It's just butter. Absolute butter. I know it's a T43 and it doesn't have much armor, but you can shoot anywhere on that guy and you can HE him. And again here, the turret of the Emil, he does damage his ammo rack. He's going to get behind him, and I think he is just going to end the game with that ammo rack. So if you haven't played the Charioteer, guys, definitely go play it. Use the Hesh wisely. Make sure you don't just splash and do 30 damage like Fizzy did. But yeah, it's still a great tank, and it's definitely worth the grind. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.